Hurry up, man. Right wheel.
This court of inquiry has completed its investigation. Do you wish to make any statement or give any evidence?
Harry Harbord Morant, Lieutenant Bushveld Carbineers. I enlisted in South Australia. I was with the 2nd Contingent for 9 months and was promoted to sergeant in that corps. I received my commission when I transferred to the Transvaal Constabulary. I returned to England on 6 months' leave and, with the help of my friend Captain Hunt, patched up a quarrel, an old quarrel with my family. I had intended to go back to England to live after the war. On my return to South Africa, I fought at Caree Siding and at Kronstadt under Lord Roberts. I also fought with General French's Cavalry Brigade at Diamond Hill. After that, there were requests for volunteers to join the Bushveld Carbineers in the Northern Transvaal. I joined on April the 1st, 1900, April Fool's Day. In the Carbineers, I was responsible for the capture of Boer commando leader Kelly. I was recommended for a DSO. I take full and entire responsibility for the events at Fort Edward. I was, however, acting under orders. I was also deeply disturbed by what happened to Captain Hunt.
There's no sentries. Either they're asleep or there's no one there.
No horses either.
No. Ask him if he's sure if the information is correct.
Het jy die regte kennis?
Hela, hak de van de kak, tarahukum. Hela, es baya, swak.
They have returned from the Cape Colony. They are very weak.
Stay here with 3 men. And this boy. Keep the horses quiet. Cover us.
It's not good, Captain.
Maak zeker, maak spoor! Get back! Get back! Krijg die officier! Fall back! Fall back! Mount up! Mount up! Let's get out of here!
Can't you send them back? For Captain Hunt.
Come on, Julian! Watch it, Peter!
Ooh, probably just a stand bruise. He'll be all right.
You reckon that's all it is, then?
Yeah, if he limps again, swipe another horse for a few.
Patrol's back!
Get the breaker.
Get the breaker! That's my horse!
What happened?
Right, you men, quick! Captain Hunt! They were waiting for us.
There were many men. Captain Hunt was shot.
There was nothing we could do. Bullets whizzing around us like blowflies. Lost 5 men.
George, get settled up. We're going on a patrol.
Come on, settle up. There was nothing we could do. They must have known we was coming.
Known? Of course they bloody knew. You can't trust these blokes. How many sides are you fighting on, mate? Mate? Just because you sign a bit of paper don't mean the war's over.
Well, Mr. Taylor, sir, so much for your damned intelligence report. 8 Boers exhausted, that's what you said. Horses with fever, you said. What do you say now?
I say avenge, Captain Hunt.
Prisoners and escort! Quick, march!
Come in.
The Court of Inquiry has come to a recommendation on this matter.
About time.
It has been decided to proceed with the military court-martialed here at Petersburg. You will remain under close arrest.
Major Charles Bolton to see Lord Kitchener and Colonel Hamilton.
This way, sir.
Charles. My dear Charles.
Good to see you again, sir.
You come highly recommended, young man.
Thank you, sir.
I have a rather important prosecution I want you to handle.
Yes, sir.
Charles, you've heard of the Bushveld Carbineers?
Yes, I have, sir. A special force raised by Lord Kitchener to deal with the Boer guerrillas.
Correct. Colonials, most of them. Australians.
I understand they've been quite effective, sir.
Very effective. We've just arrested 3 of them for shooting Boer prisoners and a German missionary.
I've received, Bolton, a telegraph message from Whitehall. The German government has lodged a serious protest about the missionary in particular.
Yes, sir.
The Kaiser, as you know, is our late Queen's grandson.
The fact is that Whitehall feels the Germans are looking for an excuse to enter the war. On the Boer side, of course. We don't want to give them one.
And needless to say, the Germans couldn't give a damn about the Boers. It's the diamonds and gold of South Africa they're interested in.
They lack our altruism, sir.
Quite.
Here's the report of the preliminary inquiry. The evidence against the Australians is overwhelming.
Who is handling the defense, sir?
Well, we expect no difficulties there. I selected one of their own chaps, a major from the New South Wales Mounted.
Najua rafiki. Nimekumbuka sana. Majina ya kazi.
Still can't get used to it. Court-martial. On the ship coming over here, the blokes used to joke about who'd be the first to get a VC.
Scratch yourself in that race, mate.
My father said the war would make a man of me.
Everybody's father says that, George.
It's really...
Ironic?
Ironic.
Ironic.
He believes in the British Empire, you know. We all do in my family. That's why I volunteered, to help keep the empire together.
Yeah? Well, I volunteered because there's a depression back home and I got a wife and kid.
You believe in the Empire, Harry?
Do I?
Don't reckon he does, mate.
Major J.F. Thomas. I'm your defending officer.
George Whitten.
Harry Morant.
New South Wales Mounted. What sort of a lawyer are you?
They haven't locked me up yet. What sort of soldier are you? They're looking after you here? Looks a bit Spartan.
Well, it's not exactly the Hotel Australia.
More like the Coffee Palace. No grog.
They gave you the report on the preliminary inquiry?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
But the trial starts tomorrow.
Yeah, we thought you were going to miss it.
Well, you don't know anything about us.
Only what's in the preliminary report. And that, gentlemen, is not very flattering.
As a matter of interest, how many courts-martial have you done?
None.
None. Jesus, they're playing with a double-headed penny, aren't they?
Would you rather conduct your own defense?
But you have handled a lot of court cases back home, sir.
No. As a country town solicitor. I handled land conveyancing and wills.
Wills might come in handy.
I'm going to need a lot of information.
Do you think they're going to imprison us or cashier us, sir? My father, if he found out...
Have they told you? There are several murder charges. The penalty is death.
Long as the wage shall grow, long as fame guards her scroll, and men through heart and soul thrill to true glory, their deeds from age to age shall voice and verse engage, swelling the splendid page of England's story.
It's a matter of discipline, tradition. Now, do you think this business could have happened with any contingent other than the Australians?
But Morant's not an Australian.
Your splitting has. He's been out there 15 years or so. He's learned all their bad habits. I never thought you colonials got lost, Major.
I've been at the prison, sir.
Major Thomas, Major Bolton, Captain Nicholson, Lieutenants Reed and Baxter, Miss...
Mijnkes, Van Rooyen and Huisman.
How do you do?
Hij is de Australische major voor de Krijgsraad.
Oh, hij is de Australische major.
Ja?
I understand your Mr. Morant is something of a poet, Major.
That's right. He wrote for a paper called The Bulletin in Sydney.
Een van de besvelgen is een dichter. A Tennyson of the Transvaal. And a Byron of the Bushveld Carbineers.
Why is it he's referred to as Breaker Morant?
A ladies' man, perhaps? A breaker of hearts.
No, he was a horsebreaker. I understand the best in Australia.
Hij werkt met paarden.
Met paarden?
Ja.
Quite a Renaissance figure.
I dare say, if everything goes well, he could come and recite for us one night. In the meantime, this refined-looking fellow is an ex-opponent of ours who has wisely signed the non-competence pledge. They say he has a fine voice, only speaks Dutch, though. So, Mr. Baxter and the ladies will have to tell us what it's all about.
Meisari more is so ver van my hart. Ik hoop om haar weer te zien. Zij het in die week van die mooie veergevoen, net voor die oorlog het begin. O, breng my terug na die old Transvaal, daar waar my Sarre woon. Daaronder in de middels bij de groen door een boom, daar woont my Sarre More. Daaronder in de middels bij de
few things to clear up. How many men at Port Edward?
Oh, about 50, sometimes more, sometimes less.
And most of them were Australians.
We told you all this last night.
About 45 of them were.
Gentlemen,
The intelligence officer, Captain...
Taylor.
Taylor, yes. What did he have to do with this?
Nothing.
Well, then who do you think filed the report that led to your arrest?
Dunno, but it wasn't Taylor. He was a good bloke.
Bring in the accused. This court-martial is convened by order of...
I'd like to ask an adjournment, sir.
An adjournment? We only just arrived.
Yes, sir. I only just arrived in Petersburg yesterday. Doesn't give me much time to prepare a defense. The prosecution's had 6 weeks.
The prosecution has witnesses who have traveled more than 60 miles for this hearing. Do you expect us to keep them waiting around at taxpayers' expense?
Yes, sir. I need
Might I
time.
question, Major...
Thomas. This court-martial is convened by order... Yes, Major Thomas.
This court-martial's unconstitutional, sir. The three defendants are Australian subjects. And as the country is now an independent Commonwealth, they can only be tried by the Australian Army.
The defendants, Major, were serving in the Bushveld Carbineers, a unit under British command. This court-martial is convened by order of Horatio Herbert, Lord Kitchener of Khartoum and Askell, GCV, GCMG, RE, Commander-in-Chief of British and Colonial Forces in South Africa. The charges are as follows. Defendants Morant, Hancock and Whitton are charged with the murder of a Boer prisoner by the name of Visser. They are also charged with the murders of 6 other Boer prisoners, names unknown. In addition, Lieutenants Morant and Hancock are charged with the murder of a German missionary, the Reverend H.C.V. Hess. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Not guilty of all 3 charges?
Yes, sir.
Your first witness, Major Bolton.
Call Mr. Donald Robertson.
Robertson, who's he?
Golly, mate, we talked about him last night. Take this Bible in your right hand. Now repeat after me. I swear by Almighty God.
I swear by Almighty God.
That the evidence I shall give before this court.
That the evidence I shall give before this court.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
Thank you. If you'd like to take the witness chair.
Captain Robertson, you were in the regular army for 20 years.
Yes, sir. I was with the 10th Hussars before taking command of the Bushveld Carbineers in the Transvaal.
And how was discipline in the Carbineers?
Impossible. Especially with the Australians. They didn't like picket duty or guard duty. And the only day we could get them on parade was payday.
Could you give the court any
other examples of their breaches of discipline?
There were so many. They'd only salute the officers they liked.
Reckon you didn't get too many salutes, mate.
Order.
Some of them had these illegal stills. Made this really strong drink out of corn and boot polish.
You know you were their best customer.
Order.
They stole cattle and sold them.
Now, this cattle, did it belong to
I must
civilians?
object. Two of the defendants were not even at Fort Edward.
Sir, I am trying to establish for the court the irregularities and unsoldierly behavior of the Bushveld Carbineers.
Objection overruled.
Thank you, sir. Would you go on, please, Captain Robertson?
I had to reprimand Hancock here for what I considered to be a serious breach of the rules of war.
And what was that?
He placed prisoners of war in open wagons in front of train engines. They could have been shot at by their own side.
Thank you. Thank you. That'll be all, Captain Robertson.
Just hold your horses there. Do you wish to cross-examine the witness, Major Thomas?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do. Good. Now tell me, tell us. When you joined the Carbineers, what were you told they'd be doing?
Fighting the enemy?
Yes. But I mean, how? It was a new kind of call, wasn't it?
That's right. We had to fight behind the lines against the Boer commanders.
Commanders? That's a new word. It's a Boer word, isn't it? What does it mean?
The commanders had to live off the land, use hit-and-run tactics, surprise attacks, that sort of thing. The Boers did it, so it was the only way we could fight back.
Right. And it must have been very difficult to maintain discipline under these sort of conditions.
Well, it was with the Australians.
But you tried.
Aye.
Like when you reprimanded Lieutenant Hancock for putting the Boer prisoners in the carriages in front of the engines.
I told him we didn't do that sort of thing.
But in the Carbineers, I mean, you were doing a lot of things that you'd never done before.
No, that's right, but there's a limit.
What was Lieutenant Hancock's reason for placing these carriages of prisoners in the front of trains?
Well, the Boers had been mining the lines and blowing up a lot of trains. He thought it might stop them.
And did it? Did it?
Well, yes, they did stop blowing up the trains, but I don't think that's the...
Tell me, when you were in command at Fort Edward, before the late Captain Hunt and Lieutenant Morant took over, what did you do with Boer prisoners?
How do you mean?
Well, Fort Edward's only a farmhouse. There aren't any facilities for them there. What did you do with them?
We sent them down here under guard to Petersburg.
I see. But how many of them did you send down here to Petersburg?
50, 70, I really couldn't say.
I've been informed that during your command only 29 prisoners were sent to Petersburg. So what did you do with the others? I mean, there's quite a discrepancy, isn't it, between 50,
Objection,
70 and
Mr.
29.
President. This man is not on trial.
He bloody ought to be.
Extraneous comments prejudice your case, Lieutenant Hancock.
What in hell's that?
Objection allowed.
Was there a policy to shoot prisoners in the Bushveld Carbineers?
Mr. President, the defending officer is attempting to incriminate the witness.
Major Thomas, objection allowed. The witness is not on trial.
Sir, I am trying to establish the credibility, lack of credibility of
Objection
Mr. Robertson as
allowed.
a witness.
You are incriminating the witness, Major.
All right. Oh, just one more question. Did you discontinue the practice of placing prisoners in open carriages?
No. No, I didn't.
And why not? If you objected to it, eh? Could it have been that the practice, though irregular, was effective in controlling Boer attacks? Yes. That will be all, Mr. Robertson.
You may stand down, Mr. Robertson.
Good on you, man. I will proceed now, sir, with the extraordinary events following the death of Captain Hunt and the subsequent murder of the Boer
Objection.
prisoner.
This has not yet been proved.
Objection allowed.
The subsequent death of the Boer prisoner, Visser. Sergeant Major Drummond, following your patrol's return to Fort Edward, Lieutenant Morant ordered a force to return immediately to Viljoen's farmhouse.
Yes, sir. He didn't even let us have a feed.
Bas! Bas!
George, check the house! 5 men with me!
Is it Hunt?
What's left of him? We'll rest the horses for a couple of hours and then we'll go after them.
They've got nearly 2 days' start and we don't know the direction.
They'll have gone to the Waterberg. Where else can they go?
We rode another couple of days up onto the high veld. Hardly ever stopping. Morant was right about where they'd gone.
We'll get them now. We're all away now. It'll be dark then.
We'll get them now!
Wat zal jou maar daarvan zeggen? Daar loop ons zonder je.
Lucifer! Die boodschap kan van je! Zo niet meer!
Got a few of them, but most of them got away.
Callum, south bank. Up, north bank. Hurry it up. Hannah, you and Waller get that body off the tent. Waller, you blokes, get some of this Boer coffee into you while you can.
We're going to follow them into Portuguese territory.
I'm bugging about, huh?
What do you think you're doing? Come on, get out of there. Get out. Come on, get out of there. Get out.
Harry!
Get out. Get out. You're in trouble, mate.
Get up. He's wearing Hunt's uniform. Get up there.
Your name? Ask him his name.
What is your name?
Fisher. Danish Fisher. You were at the farmhouse. You killed Captain Hunt, the British officer.
Hij zei hij had de Engelse officier do it.
Nee,
dit was niet me.
He says no. He didn't kill him.
What do you mean you didn't kill him? You're wearing his bloody jacket, blast you! You're wearing his jacket! What do you mean you didn't kill him? This man killed Captain Hunt. He will be executed immediately. I want an 8-man firing squad. But say, what are you not done?
Well, I reckon we ought to take him back to Fort Edward.
Nee, I see it do it, come on. Dit was niet.
I want to be on the fighting party, Lieutenant. He killed Captain Hunt. If he did not, he would not have his uniform.
Dit was niet.
Please, Lieutenant.
Ik weet niets daarvan niet.
Most of the blokes aren't too keen on this. Why don't you have a yarn with him? We might take some notice of you.
You killed him! You're wearing his bloody jacket, man! You're wearing his jacket!
Harry.
He's to be executed, George. Captain Hunt had bullet wounds only in the shoulder and the leg. They mutilated him! They mutilated him with knives while he was still alive.
Well, he'll never get to heaven if he doesn't die.
Yeah.
He's going to sleep real good tonight.
Up top. Get up, come on.
Dit was niet actie! Wacht, nee! Oh, hier!
Ready! Aim! Fire!
Did you object to Lieutenant Morant's treatment of the prisoner?
Yes, sir.
Do you consider that the prisoner was given a fair trial?
No, sir. Not in the state Lieutenant Morant was in. He was, well, like a madman, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Sergeant Major Drummond.
Any questions, Major Thomas?
You are aware that Lord Kitchener issued orders that Boers caught wearing khaki were to be shot?
Well,
yeah.
Major, Lord Kitchener's order only applied if they were wearing khaki with an intention to deceive.
That's the first I've heard of that. It's obviously how they're interpreting it.
More like he was trying to keep out the cold. The Boers are real short of supplies.
You are a regular soldier and were one of the first to join the Bushveld Carbineers. You served under Captain Robertson.
That's right.
Would you agree that discipline had improved once Mr. Robertson was removed and Captain Hunt and Lieutenant Morant took over?
Suppose.
Try yes or no, Sir Major.
Yes.
Morant and Hancock broke up illegal stills, did they not, and forced troopers to return stolen cattle?
Yes.
There were, in fact, dismissals from the Corps. Did this cause resentment against Morant and Hancock?
Well, a bit. It's natural.
And some of those dismissed are now witnesses for the prosecution.
Yes.
Were not you yourself reprimanded for holding stolen cattle?
I explained that. I
Thank
came
you. I
across
have
them
no
while I
more
was on
questions.
patrol. I only impounded them, that's all.
I have no more questions.
You may stand down, Mr. Drummond.
You couldn't lie straight in bed, Drummond.
I don't have to take that from you.
You want to do something about it? Come outside and I'll knock your bloody head off.
Control yourself, Mr. Hancock. You'll find yourself in serious trouble. You find that amusing?
Well, I was just wondering how much more serious things could be. Any time, mate.
Hij zei, je hebt de Engelse officier doodgemaakt.
Since signing the non-combatant agreement, you've been acting as guide and interpreter to the Bushveld Carbineers.
Yes?
Would you please tell the court exactly what happened after the capture of the Boer prisoner?
No one wanted to go on the fighting party. So he said if we did not, he would shoot the prisoner himself.
Mr. Boer, do you consider that the prisoner Visser received a fair trial?
Objection. The witness is obviously not qualified to answer.
I will rephrase the question. Was the trial of Visser in any way similar to this court-martial?
Oh, no, nothing like this.
I repeat, the witness is not in the British Army. He is not qualified to answer.
I believe the question is pertinent. You may proceed, Major Bolton.
I have no more questions, Mr. President. But I would like to add that I'm being generous in even using the word trial or court-martial in relation to the killing of Visser. It was a conspiracy. It was a consultation. It was a measure to mature a criminal purpose, but it was not a court.
Trooper Berta, didn't you volunteer to shoot the prisoner Visser?
Word got round town he was offering to shoot his mates. His life wouldn't be worth half a crown.
You volunteered, Trooper Berta?
No. I only obeyed orders.
That is a lie. Didn't all the troopers in the firing squad volunteer?
No, I was commanded.
You knew Captain Hunt had told Lieutenants Morant and Hancock not to bring in prisoners, but to shoot them.
I did not. I knew nothing of such orders.
Secretary, out! Secretary, order, out! Number 1, Secretary, take forward!
Lieutenant Morant, Captain Hunt was a particular friend of yours.
Yes. I was engaged to his sister in England.
So his death was very disturbing to you?
Well, it was more the way he died. He was mutilated.
You were present at the action where Captain Hunt was killed?
No.
Well, then how do you know he wasn't killed in a fair fight?
Because I saw his body.
Sometime later, you can't possibly know how Captain Hunt met his death. So you cannot produce any evidence to connect Visser with it. So then, why did you order him to be shot?
It is customary during a war to kill as many of the enemy as possible.
And was your court at the trial of Visser constituted in any way like this? What rule did you shoot him under?
Like this? Oh, no, sir, no, it wasn't quite like this. No, sir, it wasn't quite so handsome. And as for rules, we didn't carry military manuals around with us. We were out on the veldt, fighting the Boer, the way he fought us. I'll tell you what rule we applied, sir. We applied Rule 303. We caught them, and we shot them under Rule 303.
Farewell till our harbour, and farewell, my Jean, where heartsome with thee I have many days been.
Did you get a reply from the consul?
No. Either the English aren't sending the telegrams or the Australians are ignoring them. How's your eyesight, Sergeant?
Very weak, sir.
You're the best witness the prosecution's got, Harry. Better watch your temper.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's, my great failing, impetuosity, most un-British.
Better watch yourself, too. This is a British court-martial, not a back-blocks pub.
Peter.
Well, we've got a few witnesses of our own tomorrow, anyway.
Not many. Just about anyone with a good word for us has been sent to India. Come on, read it to us, Harry.
Oh, Peter, come on. You know you love poetry.
Well, there's not much else to bloody do around here, is there?
Come on, read it.
Oh, those rides across the river, where the shallow stream runs wide, when the sunset's beams were glossing strips of sand on either side. We would cross the sparkling river on the brown horse and the bay, watch the willows sway and shiver and the trembling shadows play. 'Tis a memory to be hoarded, oh, the foolish tale and fond, till another stream be forded, and we reach the great beyond.
I don't want to die.
Well, every life ends in a dreadful execution, George. Yours will be much quicker and less painful than most.
And a lot earlier than most.
I swear by Almighty God.
Wie is dat?
Mike
Dat is
White,
Christian
Mike
Boerter.
White.
Hij heeft voor die Britten gewerkt.
Mr. Charlie used to be with the Carbineers. Wars aren't too fond of turncoats.
Captain Taylor, you were with the Bushveld Carbineers, but not actually a member of the Corps.
That's correct. I joined the Carbineers as intelligence officer at the request of Lord Kitchener. I had lived in South Africa before the war and spoke some of the native languages, as well as Dutch.
And were you senior to Lieutenant Morant?
I was senior, yes. But the day-to-day running of the Corps was left to Lieutenant Morant, although he sometimes referred matters to me.
And what is your opinion of Lieutenant Morant?
A good fellow. One could not help liking him. He was a little hot-headed, inclined perhaps to do things on the impulse of the moment. The men obeyed him. He's a good soldier.
Did you know Captain Hunt well?
Hunt, yes. Yes, I did.
Did you know of any orders to shoot Boer prisoners?
There was an understanding.
Kitchener's quite right, you know. Lord Roberts is far too correct for this kind of a war. All the internments, deportations should be all over in a matter of months.
You'll be going home?
Me? Oh, I don't think so. Should be a few opportunities here.
Nothing will keep me in South Africa.
G'day. How'd you do? Pretty good by the look of it.
No stopping me now, Peter.
Go well, Harry?
Ah, not bad. One dead, one wounded. Mind you, got 13 of them. Crept up on them while they were asleep. This lot surrendered.
God, Harry. Got no facilities for prisoners. Can't even feed them. Taylor, execute those men.
Naismith, Dengate, Siri, you two, Gray. Donald, Nichols, one squad. Hooligan, verder terug. Verder terug. Schiet up, schiet up.
Simon, I thought the proclamation only applied to Boers caught wearing British khaki.
New orders from Kitchener. Colonel Hamilton's confirmed it to me himself. No prisoners. The gentleman's war is over. Here, break your teeth on this.
Had Mr. Morant executed any Boer prisoners prior to the death of Captain Hunt?
No, he had not.
He had then disobeyed orders.
Strictly speaking, yes.
And he is now on trial for later obeying those same orders.
I object, sir. The Manual of Military Law states, persons captured under arms against British forces in the field shall be placed within the jurisdiction of the nearest provost marshal or garrison command.
They were not the orders under which we operated.
Indeed. You saw a copy of Lord Kitchener's new orders?
No.
Sanctioning executions?
No. But they were common knowledge.
I've told you they were verbal orders from Pretoria.
And no one can substantiate them.
Captain Hunt relayed them.
Captain Hunt is dead.
Order. This evidence is completely irrelevant.
Irrelevant? Irrelevant when I have established that it was common practice among the Bushveld Carbineers to shoot prisoners? Why would an officer of Captain Hunt's spotless reputation invent an order, sir?
We all admire your zeal in defending your fellow Australians, Major Thomas, but intemperate speech and wild accusations do not further your cause.
Captain Taylor, did you know of any other incidents similar to the Visser case?
I once saw a Boer dealt with in the same manner for wearing British khaki.
Shot?
He was shot, yes.
You are still introducing irrelevant material.
Sir, I wish to establish, and I have made the point before in connection with Mr. Robertson, that a precedent in this war has been well and truly set.
Sir, I would like to point out to my learned colonial colleague that the fact of a crime being previously committed in no way pardons the behavior of Lieutenant Morant and his friends.
I have no more questions.
You are you not? The same Captain Taylor who is yet to be court-martialed for the murder of 6 Boer prisoners.
I am.
Would it not be in your best interest to suggest that orders were given that Boer prisoners be shot?
Are you saying I'm lying, Major?
Just answer my questions, Captain.
You answer mine.
You are answering questions, Captain Taylor. Major Bolton is asking them.
I suppose it could appear that way.
Thank you. That'll be all, Captain Taylor.
Lights out! Three cheers for His Majesty, King Edward VII. Long may he reign! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!
I think it's wonderful, George going to South Africa.
Join the army and see the world.
He's so young.
George.
His father says young.
George.
The rest of us are too old, eh, George?
George Whitton. Honor, glory, and a safe return.
George Whitton. Honor, glory, and safe return.
I'm not much of a letter writer, you know. If you ever heard from me, it'd probably be bad news.
Long years in vain and found life's garlands rue. Maybe that I'll come back, dear girl, at last to you. Dear girl, at last to
Ochtend.
What did you say?
Nothing.
I can't understand you.
Ik ga.
One week from tonight, eh?
Dood aan die Engelsen!
Our blokes come to rescue us?
Don't be bloody silly.
It's a Boer attack.
Dood aan die Engelsen!
Not sure I like you blokes enough to help you. That broke the monotony, didn't it?
Irrelevant. The defendants were called upon to do their duty, no more. So the Duke of Wellington stated, the performance of a duty of honour and trust after knowledge of military offence ought to convey a pardon. What on earth has a statement by the Duke of Wellington to do with military law? I will tolerate no further mention of this morning's events in this court. But, sir, the Duke of Wellington influenced nearly all our military law.
Why bother, Major? Why bother?
Order! We will proceed with the second charge concerning the 6 Boer prisoners killed at Fort Edward on the 23rd of August, 1901.
Anyway, it was dark. Pitch dark. Not even a moon. Couldn't see a thing. But a bet is a bet, and £50 is a hell of a lot of money. Mind you, I'd had a few drinks. Quite a few drinks. Anyway, there's the fence. Cast iron. 7 foot high. Spikes on the top, you know the kind. It was so dark I couldn't even see it, so we put some candles right on the top.
And you cleared it.
You've heard it before.
You've all heard it before.
Yes, I cleared it, and I won the bet. I paid off all my debts in, where the hell was it?
Canada.
Yeah, Canada, thank you very much. And I got the land all...
You'll be on the other side. What was that? Well, he's a big enough Boer, ain't he?
The group of Boers coming in. They've got white flags.
Yeah, that's an old one. We get within 100 yards and they blow our bloody heads off.
Not this lot. They look really shabby.
Well, in that case, they'll have a few free feeds, go back out into the veldt and snipe them.
So, Major Drummond, take 4 troopers. Corporal Sharp, listening post.
What's up?
Bandoliers off! Bandoliers! Binnen, binnen! Binnen! Binnen, binnen! Get eens!
En wat nou gebeurt?
Wees stil!
Ik weet niet, jong. Ik vertrouw er niet. Wrachtig niet.
Stil!
They're part of the group that killed Simon Hunt.
How can you be sure?
They killed his commanders. The rest have disbanded or moved into Portuguese territory.
Execute them.
Aren't we supposed
This
to
is a
take them down
guerrilla
to
war, not a debutante's ball. There are no rules here.
Blast that man. George, tell Hancock to get a squad together after the old man's left, will you? Go on.
You got to get a firing squad together, Peter. All right. It's wrong, mate. You know it is.
Don't argue the toss with me, mate. I just follow orders. Hey, look at this. I got these from that lot. Dum-dums. Ever seen what they can do? Put a neat little hole here. And at the back, boom. All gone, nothing. Don't talk to me about what's right or wrong.
Morning, Lieutenant.
Morning, Mr. Hess.
Where's this man?
Boer prisoners, sir. I'd rather you didn't speak to them. You're moving on today, sir?
As soon as I get some water from my men, I'll proceed for Lloydstop.
Lloydstop? Boer guerrilla country, sir.
Ah, yes, but they do not bother with a harmless old man who is spreading the word of God.
But the white flag. They came in under a white flag.
You remember the order from Pretoria High Command. If they show a white flag, we don't see it. I didn't see it.
Harry, you never gave a damn for orders if you didn't agree with them. You're just doing this to avenge Captain Hunt.
You're probably right, lad. It won't bring him back, but it's the next best thing.
Mr. Hess, sir, you spoke to the prisoners? I gave you strict instructions not to, sir.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant Morant. They called me to say prayer for them. The Boers are religious men. I could not refuse.
I'm on one. Ready! Charge!
I propose to settle, once and for all, sir, the matter of whether or not orders were issued to shoot prisoners.
Do you, Major Thomas? Major Bolton has proved there were no standing orders, and Captain Hunt is dead.
A formal request that Lord Kitchener attend this court-martial.
Kitchener? Lord Kitchener?
He can tell us himself whether or not such orders were issued.
You are impertinent, Major Thomas. Are you suggesting that the most senior soldier in the British Army, a man venerated throughout the world, would be capable of issuing an order of such barbarity?
I don't know, sir. But I do know that orders that one would consider barbarous have already been issued in this war. Before I was asked to defend these men, I spent some months burning Boer farmhouses, destroying their crops, herding their women and children into stinking refugee camps, where thousands of them have died already from disease. Now, these orders were issued, sir. And soldiers like myself and these men here have had to carry them out, however damned reluctantly.
There is no precedent for this request. There's no obligation whatever for Lord Kitchener to attend this courtroom.
Oh. The accused is allowed full liberty to cross-examine any witness against him and to call any witnesses or make any statement in his defense.
May I join you?
Well, our little case seems to be attracting quite a lot of interest. Oh, yes, there have been requests from some of those correspondent fellows to attend the court. All turned down, of course.
Of course.
I've been wondering if you realize how anxious your own government is for a conviction.
What do you mean?
Well, you've just become a Commonwealth. Your Prime Minister, Mr. Barton, wants to dissipate any lingering impressions of a frontier colony, frontier behavior. You can be quite sure a quick conviction of these men will meet with Australian approval. And of course, Morant and his friends are guilty.
Are they? Why not arrest the firing squad? They did the actual killing.
But they were only following Morant's orders.
That's right. Just as Morant was following orders.
You do realize, of course, that when High Command denies that the orders were issued, your whole case will collapse. Perhaps your request that Lord Kitchener attend this court is not in your client's best interest.
I had thought of that.
Then you will withdraw the request.
No.
It seems quite simple to me. I don't know how it's come to this. You said our fellow there, that damned Irishman...
Captain Taylor, sir. Anglo-Irish.
Taylor, yes, Taylor. Assured you the case against the Australians was overwhelming. Now he seems to spend most of his time giving evidence on their behalf.
Certain proprieties have to be observed, sir. And Taylor fought with the Morant. It creates a bond. I don't think he's the problem. Major Thomas is putting up an unexpectedly good defense. Two of the court members are showing some sympathy for the Australians.
I dare say it's too late to transfer them to India.
I did mention at one time, sir, the complexities of charging soldiers with murder while they're actually in the field.
Good God, Johnny, I'm not trying to prove some academic point. I'm trying to put an end to this useless war. The Boer leaders must see in this court-martial a demonstration of our impartial justice. If these 3 Australians have to be sacrificed to help bring about a peace conference, it's a small price to pay.
I quite agree, sir, though I doubt the Australians share our enthusiasm.
You go to Petersburg, Johnny. You deal with the order to shoot the prisoners.
What do I say?
I think you know what to say.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
Thank you, sir. If you'd like to take the witness chair, please.
Colonel Hamilton, last July, Captain Hunt took 2 polo ponies to Lord Kitchener's headquarters in Pretoria, at which time you had a conversation with him regarding Boer prisoners. Do you recall that conversation?
I have no recollection whatever. I have never spoken to Captain Hunt with reference to his duties in the Northern Transvaal.
You're a liar! Order! You are under oath, sir.
I am aware of that.
Major Thomas, I trust you'll agree that closes the issue of the alleged orders to shoot prisoners.
On the contrary, sir, I regard Colonel Hamilton's denial as having no bearing at all on the defense. I submit that it is, in fact, inadmissible evidence. A conversation is stated to have taken place between Captain Hunt and Colonel Hamilton, which conversation was relayed by Captain Hunt to Lieutenant Morant. Now, it really doesn't matter from whom Captain Hunt had his instructions. The fact is clear from the evidence that Captain Hunt did tell his subordinates, not once, but several times, that no prisoners were to be taken. This fact is admitted by witnesses for the prosecution. Captain Hunt's instructions were entitled to be obeyed, which goes to remove any suggestion of malicious intention on the part of the defendants. This entire court-martial, sir, should be dismissed.
Let us pray. O Lord of hosts, we entreat thy blessing for the soldiers of our race called to do battle in South Africa. Be thou a strong tower for them against the enemy, O thou who dost accomplish thy will by war as well as by peace. Order the minds of statesmen and generals, they may ever love righteousness and excellence.
I used to hate Sundays in Melbourne. No trams or anything. On a hot day, you couldn't even get down to St Kilda for a swim.
Did you have family readings?
No.
We did. I had to sit in a high-back chair wearing a white lace collar while my father read selections from Pilgrim's Progress. How glorious it was to see the open region filled with horses, with trumpeters and pipers, with singers and players, etc., etc., etc.
Sunday was a good day for chasing a few tarts around Bathurst. Everyone else was in church. I used to whip down the riverbank for a bit of smooching. Worst thing about dying, no more girls.
Well, coming up to the home stretch. Any news of the other two cases?
No, nothing. In my view, everything hinges on the last one. The German mission. Are you sticking with that story?
Why, what's wrong with it?
Damn it, man. He leaves Fort Edward in a cart. A few hours later, you leave with a rifle. In the morning, he's dead. And you trot out some fairy tale about shooting game. Hey? Harry?
We don't have to give evidence, do we?
No. But refusal will be equivalent to an admission of guilt.
Sir? I was in a public house a few nights ago, sir.
Please, Sergeant.
Yes, sir. I was standing near one of the witnesses. In his cups he was. A very indiscreet gentleman, sir.
We will proceed, gentlemen, with the final one of the three charges, the death of the Reverend H.C.V. Hess. Lieutenants Morant and Hancock have pleaded not guilty, respectively, to inciting and committing the murder. Major Bolton.
You realize you're under oath, Corporal Sharp?
Yes, sir. Right, sir.
This way to say anything except his prayers.
On the 23rd day of August last, that being the last day the Reverend Hess was seen alive, you were on sentry duty. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct, sir.
Did you see the deceased that day?
What, sir?
The deceased, the Reverend Hess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I saw the deceased that day, sir. It was about 10 o'clock in the morning, sir.
Lovely day, sir. Could do with a drop of this weather in London, you know. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, it gets very foggy there, sir, you know. You can't see a foot in front of your face. That's a hand, see? It's a joke. Silly old bugger. Hope you drown your communion wine.
I checked the deceased pass, sir. It was signed by Captain Taylor, and then he went off, sir.
You never saw him again?
Deceased, sir? No, sir. Not again, sir.
Did you witness anything else which might affect this court-martial?
Yes, sir. About half hour later, sir, Lieutenant Hancock rode up to Lieutenant Morant, sir. It was alongside a tent line, sir.
How did Lieutenant Hancock look?
Like he was thinking, sir. I can't think of the...
Did he look like he was agitated?
Agitated? Yes, that's it, sir. Yes, sir, he looked agitated.
Objection, Major Bolton is leading a witness.
I will rephrase the question, sir. Tell me, Corporal Sharp, how did Lieutenant Hancock look?
Agitated, sir.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you wish to tell the court?
No, sir. Yes, sir, yes, sir. They, sir, Lieutenants Morant and Hancock, they weren't like real soldiers, sir. The troopers had actually called them by their first name, sir. Right to their face, sir.
Thank you, Corporal Sharp. That'll be all.
Thank you, sir. Corporal Sharp.
Sir. Why did you leave the Bushveld Carbineers?
Requested a transfer, sir.
Were you not made to transfer? Were you not punished by Lieutenant Hancock for stealing a Boer's property while on patrol? I can have your charge sheet brought into the court, Corporal.
Yes, sir. It's true, sir.
And have you not been stating in the hotels of Petersburg that you would walk barefoot from Cape Town to Petersburg to be on a firing party to shoot Lieutenant Hancock?
I might have said it over a pint, so you know, it would only be the beer talking, sir, not me, sir.
You testified previously that you told the Reverend Hess not to speak with Boer prisoners. Why was that?
He was German. It was for security reasons.
But we are not at war with Germany.
Every soldier is aware of the sympathy that Germany shows towards the Boers.
Were you on good terms with the Reverend Hess?
It's cordial.
When he left Fort Edward, you knew that he was going to report back here to the authorities in Petersburg.
I had no way of knowing what he was going to do.
But it would have been in your interest, would it not, to prevent him?
Well, I hardly know about that. All I do know is that someone prevented him, and I'm still here on trial.
I suggest that you instructed Lieutenant Hancock to follow the Reverend Hess and to shoot him.
I had sent a message to Colonel Hall in Petersburg informing him of my intentions towards the Boer prisoners. I have nothing to hide.
I find that statement hard to believe.
Then I suggest, sir, that you recall Colonel Hall from India. He will confirm it. I don't mind waiting.
Thank you, Lieutenant Morant. That will be all.
Thank you, sir.
Call Lieutenant Hancock to the witness chair, please.
I would like to request an adjournment, sir, until tomorrow morning.
Do I understand, Major Thomas, that Lieutenant Hancock will not be giving evidence?
No, sir. I simply need more time to discuss the case with my client.
I have no objection, sir.
Request granted.
For God's sake, tell me the truth, Peter. If you're concealing something, I want to know it. If you killed Hess, I want to know. It's not just your life. You'll take Morant and Whitten with you.
We got no bloody chance anyway.
I think you have. They obviously regard this as the most serious charge. Now, if I can convince the court members that you're innocent on this one, I think you could all be acquitted.
All right. But we've got to be careful. I don't want these witnesses in court.
Why not? Do you want to be executed?
Of course not. But I made a promise. 2 promises.
Where did you go when you left Fort Edward, approximately half an hour after the Reverend Hess?
I went visiting.
Visiting?
Visiting?
Visiting? Who could you possibly have visited?
Well, I went to the farms owned by the Shields and the Vandenbergs.
Why? Who was at these farms?
Well, nobody. Well, only the ladies, sir.
And they received you into their homes alone?
Well, I was quite well known to them.
You mean to tell me you were on intimate terms with 2 Boer ladies?
Yeah, well, you could put it that way. Sir?
Where were the husbands?
Well, one's a prisoner of war and the other's with the Boer commanders. I was just checking they were all right.
You spent the full afternoon at these ladies' homes.
My oath. It was about 5 o'clock when I got to Shields' place.
Hey, Mr. Shields, how you going? Hey, listen, come have a cup of coffee. I mean, I'm tired. I've been riding all day.
Coffee later.
Okay, talk me into it.
I would like to present the court with written depositions from both the ladies in question.
Lieutenant Hancock, what does Mrs. Vanderberg mean by entertained? Did you sing to her?
Sir, you can appreciate that these ladies' reputations are in a vulnerable position, and as these letters confirm Lieutenant Hancock's whereabouts on the day in question, could they not forego the embarrassment of actually appearing in court?
Major Wilton?
I have no objection, sir.
I must say I find this sort of behavior from a soldier in the British Army morally disgraceful. These were married women.
Well, they say a slice off a cut loaf's never missed.
Lieutenant Hancock's personal morality is not on trial, sir.
Regrettably.
Who do you think did kill the missionary?
Me.
What about your lady friends?
That was later.
Does Major Thomas know?
No. And he's not going to.
But we've always told the truth. Major Thomas has been pleading justifying circumstances, and now we're just lying.
We're lying! What about them? It's no bloody secret our graves were dug the day they arrested us at Fort Edward.
Yeah, but killing a missionary, Peter...
It's a new kind of war, George. It's a new war for a new century. I suppose this is the first time the enemy hasn't been in uniform. They're farmers. They're people from small towns. And they shoot at us from houses and from paddocks. Some of them are women, some of them are children, and some of them are missionaries, George.
That minister was talking to the prisoners.
I know. I'm damn certain that Hess was the one who led Simon Hunt into that trap. Now he tells me he's off to Leidesdorf.
Leidesdorf? Anything can happen on the way to Leidesdorf.
The main fact of this case, that Boer prisoners were executed, has never been denied by the defense. However, I feel that there is no evidence at all for bringing charges against Lieutenant Whitten, a junior officer who had no reason to question the instructions of his superiors, and whose only crime was that he shot a Boer in self-defense. And further, no one denies the admirable fighting qualities of the Boers, nor, in general, their sense of honor. However, those Boers fighting in the northern Transvaal, in commando groups, are outlaws, renegades, often without any recognized form of control, addicted to the wrecking of trains, the looting of farms. Lord Kitchener himself recognized the unorthodox nature of this warfare when he formed a special squad to deal with it, the Bushveld Carbineers. how when the rules and customs of war are departed from by one side, one must expect the same sort of behavior from the other. Accordingly, officers of the Carbineers should be, and up until now have been, given the widest possible discretion in their treatment of the enemy. Now, I don't ask for proclamations condoning distasteful methods of war, but I do say that we must take for granted that it does happen. Let's not give our officers hazy, vague instructions about what they may and may not do. Let's not reprimand them, on the one hand, for hampering the column with prisoners, and at another time, and another place, haul them up as murderers for obeying orders. Lieutenant Morant shot no prisoners before the death of Captain Hunt. He then changed a good deal and adopted the sternest possible measures against the enemy. Yet there is no evidence to suggest that Lieutenant Morant has an intrinsically barbarous nature. On the contrary. The fact of the matter is that war changes men's natures. The barbarities of war are seldom committed by abnormal men. The tragedy of war is that these horrors are committed by normal men in abnormal situations. Situations in which the ebb and flow of everyday life have departed and have been replaced by a constant round of fear and anger, blood and death. Soldiers at war are not to be judged by civilian rules. As the prosecution is attempting to do, even though they commit acts which, calmly viewed afterwards, could only be seen as unchristian and brutal. And if in every war, particularly guerrilla war, all the men who committed reprisals were to be charged and tried as murderers, court-martials like this one would be in permanent session. Would they not? I say that we cannot hope to judge such matters unless we ourselves have been submitted to the same pressures, the same provocations as these men whose actions are on trial.
Steady, steady, don't spill a drop. Thank you. To the Bushveld Carbineers, best fighters in a bad cause.
Bloody oath.
Christ, where the hell did you get this stuff?
One of the jock guard.
What do you mean a bad cause? I thought we cleared up all their stills. Oh, sorry, George. Bad cause was the Boer War, you know? 500,000 men fighting a few thousand farmers.
Every bugger we kicked out of the Carbineers came down and set up business in Petersburg.
Oh, well, you can't always choose, George, which side you're going to fight on, can you? And these days, it's so very easy to be on the wrong side.
Especially if you leave Australia one step ahead of the debt collectors, eh?
Watch your language. Watch your language. When a man hath no freedom to fight for at home, let him combat for thank you for that of his neighbors. Let him think of the glories of Greece and of Rome, and get knocked on the head for his labors. To do good to mankind is the chivalrous plan, and as always is nobly requited. Then battle for freedom wherever you can, and if not shot or hanged, you'll get knighted.
Did you write that, Harry?
No, it was a minor poet called Byron.
Never heard of him.
I did say he was a minor poet.
I know some good poems too.
Oh, I bet you do.
That surprised you, didn't it?
Yeah.
There once was a man from Australia who painted his arse like a dahlia. The colour was fine, likewise the design, but the aroma, ooh, that was a failure.
Champagne from 2 of the court members. You have been officially acquitted on the Hess case.
You beauty! That's it, Harry, won't see me for dust. Hello, Bathurst!
Don't get too carried away. You might still do a couple of years.
Well, it's better than a one-way trip to Kingdom Come, isn't it? Hey, George, come here.
Oh, let us plunder the champagne. Come on!
Oh!
To freedom in Australia.
Freedom in Australia. To freedom, Australia, and horses.
Freedom, Australia, and horses.
Freedom, Australia, horses and women! Freedom, Australia, horses and women!
Live every day as if it were going to be your last. But one day, you're sure to be right.
Can I have a word with you, Harry?
Geez, I can't believe it. We'll be home in time for the Melbourne Cup.
Don't count your bridges.
What do you mean by that? You said yourself, I reckon, the most serious crime. You got off that one.
I wouldn't be too certain of this verdict, Harry.
No. And what about you? Your trial's coming up soon, isn't it?
Oh, they don't want me. Intelligence service, kitchen staff and all that. No, it wouldn't go down very well. But a wild, simple fellow like Hancock and a black sheep.
We won't be missed.
That's right. I can have a horse standing by for you. Some of the guards are sympathetic.
And where would I go?
Lorenzo Marques, Portuguese territory. You take a boat and see the world.
I've seen it.
Escort! Halt! Right, turn! Mr. Whitten, sir? Right, we'll quick march.
George Ramsdale Whitten, you have been found guilty of murder and sentenced to death. Lord Kitchener has been pleased to commute your sentence to penal servitude for life.
Escort! Halt! Mr. Morant, sir? Sir? Quick march.
Harry Harbord Morant, you have been found guilty of murder and sentenced to death.
Sir.
Harry?
Shot tomorrow morning.
Mr. Hancock, sir. Out, down. Quick, march.
Peter? Same as Morant.
Escort, halt.
Can I help you, sir?
I wish to see Lord Kitchener, sir.
I'm afraid that's not possible. Do you have an appointment, sir?
No, I don't have an appointment.
Major
I
Thomas.
intend to see him straight away.
Death warrants have been signed. There's nothing you can do.
Let me see Lord Kitchener, sir. The trial was a bloody sham. 2 members of the court recommended mercy for Hancock and Morant, as well as Whitton.
In which case the casting vote belonged to the President, Lieutenant Colonel Denny. Lord Kitchener's been called away for a few days. Out on the veldt somewhere. Quite uncontactable.
I want a stay of execution, so that I can send a telegram to the King and to the Australian Prime Minister.
The sentence has been approved by Whitehall, and the Australian government has expressed its support of our decision. Forget it, Major. It's a sideshow of the war. I have some good news. There's hope of a peace conference in a couple of months. Soon we can all go home.
Could have had the decency to measure us first.
Don't suppose they've had many complaints.
I'm going to find out the grand secret. I will face my God with the firm belief I obeyed my orders and served my king as I thought best. If I overstep my duty, I can only ask my people and country for forgiveness. Take care of my little son at all costs. No matter what I may have done, you and he were the source of my greatest joy.
The night's a trifle chilly, and the stars are very bright. A heavy dew is falling, but the tent is rigged all right. You may rest your bones till morning, then if you chance to wake, give me a call about the time that daylight
starts to break.
Harry! Peter!
Free in hell, mate.
Goodbye, George.
Why did they do it to us, Harry? Why?
They have to apologise for their damn war, George. They're trying to end it now, so they need scapegoats.
Harry!
George! Scapegoats of the bloody Empire!
Cheer up. Look as though you're going to a funeral. Harry... It's all right, Major. I've had a good run. There's nothing for me in England anymore. And back in Australia, well, they do say that if you need a couple of stiff brandies before you climb up on a wild horse, you're finished. But would you make sure they're posted for me, please? And see that this gets published, eh? We poets do crave immortality, you know. Thank you.
Do you want the Padre?
No, thank you. I'm a pagan.
And you? What's a pagan?
Well, it's somebody who doesn't believe there's a divine being dispensing justice to mankind.
I'm a pagan too.
There is an epitaph I'd like. Matthew 10:36.
All right, gentlemen.
Well, Peter, this is what comes of empire building.
Matthew 10:36.
And a man's foe shall be they of his own household.
It really ain't the place nor time to reel off rhyming diction. But yet we'll write a final rhyme while waiting crucifixion. For we bequeath a parting tip of sound advice for such men who come across in transport ships to polish off the Dutchmen. If you encounter any Boers, you really must not loot 'em. And if you wish to leave these shores, for pity's sake, don't shoot 'em. Let's toss a bumper down our throat before we pass to heaven and toast the trim-set petticoat we leave behind in Devon.
Shoot straight, you bastards! Don't make a mess of it! Forward!
woman's song is just the same when singing of her soldiers brave. All the world that's heard it wonders why we sing. Some have learned the reason why. We're not forgetting it, we're not letting it fade away or gradually die. Fade away or gradually die. So when we say that England's master, remember who has made her so. It's the soldiers of the Queen, my lads, who've been, my lads, who've seen, my lads, in the fight for England's glory, lads, of its worldwide glory let us sing. And when we say we've always won, and when they ask us how it's done, we'll proudly point to every one of England's soldiers